Follow Nairabet on Twitter @Nairabet and on Facebook @Nairabet Online to take part in our infamous giveaways, and you too can win big. Nairabet, the home of sports betting and fast payments in Nigeria.
Football Live, the wrap-up show with Barry Swain on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. Powered by Nairabet.
Well, the international weekend is almost upon us, and we need a weekend off to get over last weekend. I'll tell you a couple of people that certainly need a weekend off to get over last weekend. A couple of managers have vented their anger. We'll hear from Antonio Conte, the Spurs manager, who had an outburst against his players and his chairman, and then Marco Silva, as his Fulham side capitulate with 3 red cards in 40 seconds in their FA Cup turnaround defeat at Manchester United. And that's where we'll start, at Old Trafford in the FA Cup. Manchester United through to the FA Cup semi-final for a record 31st time. They did it the hard way. After 75 minutes, Fulham were deservedly leading by 1-0 thanks to a goal from Aleksandar Mitrovic. Suddenly, a shot from Jadon Sancho blocked on the line by the hand of Willian, and then went to VAR, penalty given, Marco Silva, the manager, red-carded, Willian sent off, and then Mitrovic, the goal scorer of the only goal of the game up until that point, pushes the referee, and he is sent off too. So Fulham down to 9 men for the rest of the game. United go and score the penalty and 2 more goals, and they win by 3-1, and they will meet Brighton in the next round of the FA Cup. That's at Wembley in the semi-final. The other semi-final, by the way, Championship Sheffield United, taking on the favourites for the FA Cup, Manchester City. Let's hear, first of all, from Erik ten Hag, following his side's hard-fought victory against, and up to the 75th minute, very impressive Fulham.
Everyone saw it was a handball, as it was last week handball. So in handball, there is a clear penalty for. That's the penalty you have to get. And we have seen that last week. So, and I've seen many times before, but I don't know how it is in England. But it was a clear handball. You don't have to go to VAR. Everyone has seen.
Manchester United and the England defender Luke Shaw also very aware that Manchester United were far from their best on Sunday.
I think we can be honest, it wasn't our best performance today. I think you could see maybe a bit of fatigue. We lacked intensity, we lacked, energy, and I think that showed a lot, especially in the first 60 minutes. We were really struggling at times. Can't take anything away from Fulham. I think they're a really good side, made it very difficult for us, but I think in these competitions it's not always about how you perform. I think the most important thing is to win and get through to that next round, and we did that today, and another trip to Wembley that we're really looking forward to.
What about Fulham? One incident in the 75th minute flipped this game on its head. Up until that point, Fulham looked good value for a win at Old Trafford and a place at Wembley in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Marco Silva was one of 3 red cards in the space of 40 seconds. Here is Marco Silva speaking after that defeat in controversial circumstances at Old Trafford.
And okay, it's the pressure to play against Man United away from home at Old Trafford. There, if we until 70 minutes we did it brilliant because we were clear the best team on the pitch. The way we dominate them, they didn't create almost anything until that moment. We were the best team, and of course it's difficult for us to accept this type of decisions because I know that it's a huge club, everyone knows, big respect, but you cannot be. It's quarters final, and both teams, they have to have the same conditions to keep in the competition. They cannot decide in one way. Sometimes, because it's Fulham or it's Man United, they decide completely different in the same situations. Because the referee sometimes feels the pressure, because he's here, like I feel, like the people that they are in the office there, it's really difficult to assess of the things that keeping up on this season week by week.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM.
Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0. This is just incredible. The wheels have just fallen off the wagon.
4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brila FM with Football Live.
Oh my word, it's an absolute massive goal for Arsenal's title hopes here.
Wow, just wow.
Sticking with the FA Cup for a moment, and on Saturday Manchester City made it through to the semi-finals. They beat Burnley by 6-0 at the Etihad. Another 3 goals for Erling Haaland to take his tally for the week up to 8. That's quite remarkable, and they go into the international break as the real in-form side at the moment. They're through to the semi-final. They will meet Sheffield United in the final, having beaten Blackburn by 3-2 at Bramall Lane. In the other semi-finals, we've just heard Manchester United are through, having beaten Fulham, and they will play Brighton and Hove Albion, who eased through to the last 4 with a 5-0 home win against 4th tier Grimsby Town at the Amex on Sunday afternoon. So it's Manchester United against Brighton and Manchester City against Sheffield United in the semi-finals of the FA Cup in April. With Manchester City playing in the FA Cup, Arsenal had the opportunity to move 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League table, and they took the opportunity with both hands. Managerless Crystal Palace were the visitors, and an all-London affair to the Emirates Stadium. It finished Arsenal 4, Crystal Palace 1. Crystal Palace interim manager Paddy McCarthy speaking after the game.
Delighted with the start of the game. Created 2 excellent chances early on and could have gone ahead. Lots of positives to take in terms of performance and bits certainly that we need to work on. But I think the boys will come out of that with belief. Arsenal at top of the table for a reason. Disappointed with the 4th goal, but overall lots of positives, and it was always going to be a tough ask coming to the league leaders who were in fine form. So disappointed with that, and they'll back the team 100% right until the end, and that will be massive for the players in there.
On Friday evening, Nottingham Forest 1, Newcastle United 2. A first loss in 9 for Nottingham Forest at home. This after taking the lead through the Nigerian international Emmanuel Dennis. But a goal in first half stoppage time and a winning goal in second half stoppage time, a double from Alexandra Isak, saw Eddie Howe's side pick up the 3 points, deservedly, given that they had plenty of chances during the game. And the 3 points certainly pleased Eddie Howe, the Newcastle United manager.
The majority of the game, I thought there was probably a 10-15 minute spell in the first half around when they scored where we lost our way a little bit. Apart from that, I thought we were really, really good. You had a feeling that we had so many chances in the first half. Was it going to be one of those nights? But the lads kept going, and I thought we deserved to win the game.
Follow Nairabet on Twitter @Nairabet and on Facebook @Nairabet Online to take part in our infamous giveaways, and you too can win big. Nairabet, the home of sports betting and fast payments in Nigeria.
A quick reminder that this weekend is the international break, so there will be no football live this Saturday and Sunday, but don't worry, we will be back with the preview show next week on Brila FM exclusively, and then on Saturday the 1st of April and Sunday the 2nd of April, Football Live will be back, kicking off with that Saturday lunchtime Manchester City against Liverpool. So we start with a bang in a couple of weeks' time, but this weekend is an international break on Football Live on Brila FM.
The best place to follow the Premier League and all the major leagues in Europe is right here on Football Live. 4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brila FM with Football Live.
Disappointment for Chelsea at the weekend. Twice they took the lead against Everton. Twice they were pegged back in a 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge. This bringing to an end a good run of wins for Graham Potter's men. Here is Graham Potter after the 2-2 draw against Everton.
Well, we're really disappointed because we dropped 2 points at home. We wanted to win. I think you saw the intention of the team. There was a lot of positive things in the performance, but ultimately we haven't defended well enough. And to concede 2 goals means it's not so easy to win the game. So that's the disappointing thing for us. Well, I think you have to credit Everton. They do what they do well. They use their physicality. They use the set pieces. They ask you a question, but I think most of the game we controlled fairly well, as much as you can at this level. But ultimately, the first goal is really disappointing from a set-piece perspective. We spoke about that before the game. And then the second goal, we haven't attacked well enough and then exposed ourselves to a big space to defend and haven't done it well enough. So these little small things that when you look at how much we put into the game and how much we try to attack, to be cheap with the goals we conceded is frustrating.
Ellis Sims with his first Premier League goal late on, equalising for Everton, and he was delighted to finally get off the mark with his first goal in the EPL.
Yeah, 100%. It's a great occasion to do it. Equaliser. Delighted for the team as well. Massive point against a tough opposition. So, yeah, we're delighted. We made up, come up with this, and it's like a dream come true, really, to score my first Premier League goal. Yeah, it's about patience, really. I just had to wait for my chance, really. Obviously, we've got top players, so I'm not just going to walk straight into the team. I just have to work hard in training, and when I get the opportunity, I have to take it, grab it with both hands.
A quick mention for the Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen. He just keeps scoring goals. One early in the first half, one early in the second half. Torino 0, Napoli 4 was the result from the Stadio Olimpico Grande in Torino on Sunday afternoon, which you would have heard live and exclusively right here on Football Live on Brila FM. Also a penalty for Kvaratskhelia and Ndombele in amongst the goals for Napoli. Napoli now 19 points clear with 11 to play. Lazio in second on 52, Inter on 50, AC Milan on 48, but 71 points is surely now enough for Napoli in the title race in Italy. And another 2 goals for Victor Osimhen. Back in the Premier League, and Leeds United boosted their chances of survival at the weekend with an excellent 4-2 win at Molineux against fellow strugglers Wolverhampton Wanderers. Everyone saying that Wolverhampton Wanderers have improved massively under Lopetegui since the World Cup when he was appointed, but a disappointing result for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Nonetheless, an excellent result for the Leeds United manager Javi Gracia.
It was an outstanding game for us. All the credit for my players, because they got the reward that they deserved after playing a great game. And knowing before the game, we knew it would be very tough, very demanding for us. But at the end, we got the 3 points.
Southampton remain bottom of the Premier League despite coming from 3-1 down to draw 3-3 with Tottenham Hotspur. James Ward-Prowse with a 93rd minute penalty. This after Theo Walcott, the former Arsenal man, had given Southampton hope. 3 second half goals, including one from Harry Kane, had put Tottenham Hotspur in complete control of this match where they led by 3-1. But they threw away their 2-goal lead, and that prompted a very big reaction from the Tottenham Hotspur manager Antonio Conte, and it raised plenty of eyebrows, this interview after the game.
You try to find alibi and an excuse for the players. Okay, continue to do this. Excuse for the players. Yeah, but the players maybe my future, and then okay, they lost confidence, they lost spirit, they lost to be a team. Excuse. Try to protect every time, and this situation. Come on, we are professional. We paid, the club paid us a lot of money. The players receive money. Me receive money. You understand? Not to find excuse and don't have spirit or don't show the sense of belongings, or don't show. Sense of responsibility, because we are showing this, and for me this is unacceptable for me, because this is the first time in my career to see a situation like this, and until now I wasn't able to change, but compare last season, the situation went to become worst. Why? I don't know, because they are used here. They don't want to play under pressure, they don't want to play under stress. Yeah, it's easy in this way. And Tottenham story is this. 20 years that there is the owner and never won something. But why? Only for the fault is only for the club or for every manager that stay here? And I have seen the manager that Tottenham had on the bench. You risk to disrupt the figure of the manager and to protect the other situation in every moment. And now, until now, I try to hide the situation, but now no, because I repeat, I don't want to see what I have seen today, because this is unacceptable. Also for the respect for the fans. They follow us, pay the tickets, and to see the team another time, to have this type of performance, for me, I repeat, this is unacceptable.
Quite some rant that by Antonio Conte. and he is now the overwhelming favourite to be the next Premier League manager to be sacked as a result of that criticism at not only his players, but his chairman as well. Quite some interview. Now, elsewhere at the weekend, two results that we haven't covered, and they were both in the Premier League. Aston Villa 3, Bournemouth 0 at Villa Park. And the other game that we haven't covered in West London, Brentford 1, Leicester City 1. Leicester City managing to pick up a useful point thanks to an equaliser from Harvey Barnes early in the second half. Chandon Baptiste sent off late in the day for Brentford. So what does that do to the Premier League table? Well, Arsenal are now 8 points clear of Manchester City up at the top. City do have one game in hand. Further back by 11 points are Manchester United in third. Tottenham keep hold of their fourth place spot, but Newcastle are only 2 points behind them with 2 games in hand. Liverpool are 7 behind Tottenham with 2 in hand as well, and still in that race for the top 4. Brighton didn't play in the league, they played in the Cup but stay 7th, Brentford 8th, Fulham 9th, and despite picking up a point at the weekend, Chelsea remain in 10th, level with 11th place Aston Villa, who picked up full points. A heavily congested relegation battle. The bottom 3 after this weekend are West Ham, Bournemouth and Southampton. Southampton picking up another point. They're only 2 points from survival, but they are still bottom. Bournemouth losing, West Ham didn't play. Leicester, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Leeds, Wolves and Palace are all within 3 points of the drop zone. Very tight at the bottom. As I've mentioned earlier on in the show, next week is an international break, but Football Live, the preview show, will be back next week, building up to the first weekend in April. Saturday the 1st of April, Sunday the 2nd of April is when Football Live will return to Brila FM. We look forward to catching you then. In the meantime, have a good international break.
Follow Nairabet on Twitter at Nairabet and on Facebook at Nairabet Online to take part in our infamous giveaways, and you too can win big. Nairabet, the home of sports betting and fast payments in Nigeria.